Part 80. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 791. Chapter 791. I didn't expect you to be able to understand the laws of this level. Your talent is truly evil. Luo Shui raised her head slightly. Now she has completely changed her original idea and values Lu Shu. With your talent, if you can return to God's realm with me, you will definitely have a great opportunity. Now I can give you a chance to become your teacher. Otherwise, there will be consequences at your own risk. The next second, Luo Shui's body was like a volcano erupting, and surging power suddenly surged out. It was as if at that moment, she stepped into the mortal world with endless power, and all living beings surrendered to it. A powerful sense of pressure instantly covered the entire sky was covered. Under the sky, billions of living beings were trembling for this. Xian Monk and others all felt a terrifying and extremely oppressive feeling, spreading like a tide dash. Their faces sank slightly. This was a pressure that even the memory video could not replicate. It was as if at that moment, Luo Shui only needed one thought to destroy the world. Naturally, war reporters will not forget to broadcast the scene in a timely manner. At their speed, almost every second, a memory video is successfully uploaded to the forum. The Divine Tree Master's current brain speed and hand speed are quite astonishing. Not long after the video was released, I clicked on it instantly. It's no different than watching a live broadcast. The chat on the world public screen is also very lively. Oh my God, is this the power of gods? It feels like it is too difficult for this big boss to defeat such an opponent. Is this the true power of gods? Alas, it seems that we still have to face the gap between Divine Tree Masters and gods. It's over. The power of this blow seems to be much stronger than that of the big guy. If I guessed correctly, the boss used at least 90% of his power to repel the goddess. However, the goddess was able to block it easily. Now, the boss could only use his trump card to have a chance to backhand. However, the power of the goddess is obviously more than that. If the trump card is used up so quickly, the opponent will soon find a way to deal with it. By then, due to the gap in strength, it will directly fall into a dead situation. Woohoo, boss, my boss. Although the move he used to repel the goddess was enough to destroy a top guild of Divine Tree Masters, the possibility of defeating the goddess was still too low. Just when the Divine Tree Masters were having a heated discussion, and they all were not very optimistic about Lu Shu. However, when Lu Shu faced this blow, his expression showed no emotion. Instead, he shook his head and said, "Is this your strength? It seems that you have been promoted to the second level true god, and the improvement is not very big." Everyone couldn't help but feel ashamed when they heard this sentence. Isn't this kind of attack powerful? What kind of attack does it take to be powerful? Besides, you should block this move first before talking about it. You are talking big words so quickly. Isn't that too slow to die? Luo Shui's eyes turned cold and he said in a cold voice, "Since you insist on seeking death, then die." The next second, Luo Shui's body bloomed with an extremely powerful divine power. The aftermath of the light was a trace of power that directly shook Xian Monk's magic circle and began to tremble violently. Divinity. This is the power of God that belongs to God. Is this the real God? It's simply too powerful. Xian Monk couldn't help but say. The other Divine Tree Masters also had similar expressions. They all felt the arrogance of the gods towards the mortal world from this terrifying divine power. A Divine Tree Master, even if he touches the divinity head-on, he is afraid that he will be killed instantly. Everyone here is extremely frightened by this. However, there is a special species that is immune to the power of divinity. You guessed it right? That was the war reporter. When they saw this divine power, they immediately knew that this was another explosive scene. Without even thinking about it, they made a memory video and uploaded it to the forum. Suddenly, all the sacred tree masters witnessed it, the picture in front of me. It's unbelievable. Is this the true power of God? Divinity is the most advanced attribute currently found in the grey world. When dealing with any monster, it can be killed with divinity without any attribute restraint. In other words, divinity transcends all attributes and controls all things. Even if a divine tree master gets a little bit of divine power, he can deal with most of the dungeon monsters. Other divine tree masters are also difficult to deal with. Not to mention the divine power of a god, that is the complete divine power. That's right, as long as this divinity breaks out, almost no divine tree master can resist it. Is there any hope for this boss? How should I put it? The boss must be divine, otherwise he wouldn't be called a false god, but his divine attributes are probably not comparable to Luo Shui's. Yes, the goddess is a second-level true god. Even the first-level true god's power may not be as good as hers, right? Evening. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 792. Chapter 792 Coping Methods. All the sacred tree masters don't think highly of Lu Shu. After all, everyone in the grey world has basically seen the power of divinity. It is an extremely terrifying power that can restrain all attributes in the world, and is no different from being invincible. At this stage, in the world of the divine tree, there are already many big bosses who have mastered the power of divinity. Naturally, they are well aware of how powerful this power is. However, as divine tree masters, although they can obtain divine power, it is only a small amount. It can be regarded as the inheritance left by the gods on the earth. 503. However, the enemy Lu Shu is facing now is Luo Shui, a second-level true god from the god realm. The divinity she possesses is naturally not comparable to any divine tree master. No. To be precise, she has, all the divine tree masters in the entire grey world combined are not sure whether they are the opponent of this god. So, everyone is not very optimistic about Lu Shu, and this is also the reason. After all, in the grey world no one can obtain such a huge divinity, and any method of obtaining divinity is extremely difficult. Anyway, let's read on. Yes, I believe the boss can come up with other coping methods. Although divinity cannot defeat gods, as divine tree masters, we have participated in battles in the grey world all year round and have extremely powerful combat skills. Those aloof gods who usually kill any opponents they don't like are no different from killing ants. They may not have such powerful fighting methods. If the boss can use fighting methods to reverse the situation, there may be hope. Although I know this possibility is really small, I still hope that a miracle will happen. At this stage, the sacred tree masters couldn't help but place new hopes on Lu Shu. Most of the divine tree masters support Lu Shu, not the goddess. Because everyone has seen the attitude of the goddess. As long as you dare to disobey the other party's wishes and refuse to accept a disciple, then you will have to die to apologize. With such a domineering attitude, in fact, he did not really regard the sacred tree master as his disciple at all. The reason why he accepted him as a disciple was probably because he wanted to be a free hand. Just now, Lu Shu had clearly pointed out that Luo Shui wanted to covet what he had. Originally, no one was willing to believe this statement. They thought that they were gods after all, so what did they covet from you, a mortal? But now it seems that everyone is wrong. Lu Shu possesses a power that even the gods are afraid of. If Luo Shui doesn't covet this kind of thing, anything he says will be a lie. Moreover, Luo Shui himself admitted that he wanted Lu Shu to reveal all his secrets. One can only imagine this guy's motives. Combined with the previous sacred tree masters, when they were operating in the ruins, not only did they not get anything, but they also had to risk their lives. No matter how stupid the sacred tree masters were, they knew that they could not get out of the ruins. Luo Shui got what he wanted. What's more, when the messengers from the divine realm come to the mortal world, they always treat their divine tree masters with a feeling of superiority. This feeling, no one has ever really raised a weapon head-on and successfully resisted. However, Lu Shu stood up. With his proud posture, he defeated Luo Shui, proving that the divine tree master and the gods can still fight. At this moment, everyone placed themselves on Lu Shu's body. Because they are also divine tree masters. What they want to see is not that gods rule humans, but that humans can defeat life with their own strength. Of course, the hearts of the sacred tree masters are pinned on Lu Shu. The vast power of heaven fills the sky directly above Wuodao Cliff. A storm of destruction swept across the earth. That is the anger from the gods. An ancient sword that illuminated the world slowly slashed from the void, and then fell into Luo Shui's hands. Luo Shui Ruthless Sword. This sword once posed a huge threat to Lu Shu and could destroy everything. It was also the most terrifying sword that Lu Shu had ever faced. The ruthless sword came out, and the world suddenly became dark. Even the whole earth couldn't help but tremble. Xian Monk's face turned pale and he said, "Let's retreat immediately." The high-ranking sacred tree master of the ancient Buddha guild immediately sensed the terrifying aura on Luo Shui's body and the terrifying sword in her hand. As long as this sword cuts out, even if there is a slight aftermath, 5.3 will annihilate Xian Monk and others. Even the protective formation cannot block this powerful force. Therefore, they must retreat further away to avoid being affected. But at this moment, a terrifying vortex suddenly erupted around Luo Shui, freezing everything around him in this picture with extremely powerful adsorption power. It's like the void is blocked and everything is frozen. Xian Monk and others were still conscious and wanted to escape immediately, but they found that they had lost control of their bodies. They could only watch helplessly as a terrifying torrent of energy slowly condensed around them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting Trees for All, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 793. Chapter 793, Resisted. At this critical moment, suddenly, chains of gods came across the air and swept towards Luo Shui. This is. Luo Shui's expression suddenly changed. She immediately wanted to take back all her divine power and fly away from here. However, Lu Shu's movements were faster than Luo Shui's expectations. God's Lock. Under Lu Shu's control, the chains bloomed with gilded luster and spread all over the void in an instant. The area was immediately sealed off. It seems that this is not the secret realm of Luo Shui, but the secret realm of Lu Shu. Everything is now under Lu Shu's control. Buzzing. The divinity that originally permeated 25 places in the air was instantly sealed the moment it touched the god's lock. That terrifying divinity disappeared in the blink of an eye. It seems as if these divinities can be completely annihilated by Taisuo at any time. It's close to restraint over attributes. Luo Shui's expression suddenly changed, her movements slowed down a little, focusing on the divinity of Luo Shui's ruthless sword, which was now completely blocked. That was a full-strength sword using almost 1/3 of her own personality. The purpose, of course, is to capture Lu Shu as quickly as possible. But I didn't expect, the other party actually possesses the Lock of God. This kind of artifact is a weapon specially designed to deal with gods. When faced with ordinary mortal monsters, the god's chain is just a bit tougher in quality. But the difference is that the Lock of God is specially used to lock divinity. If we say, divinity can restrain all things, then, the Lock of God is specifically designed to restrain divinity. The higher the divinity, the higher the restraint effect. Luo Shui's sword was completely sealed by the divine lock, which was equivalent to a direct loss of 1/3 of his strength. Because that sword always used 1/3 of her divinity to slash out, but now it is sealed by the divine lock. This part of the energy can no longer be used in this battle. Unless Luo Shui can kill Lu Shu, seize the refining authority of the divine lock, and touch the seal. If not, she will permanently lose 1/3 of her divinity, and her status will be nothing like an ordinary first-order true god. There's a difference. But no matter what, in this battle, Luo Shui lost 1/3 of his divinity, and was destined to lose a good card. The odds of winning have also been reduced a lot. Luo Shui's figure took several steps back. Now, the look in her eyes when she looked at Lu Shu was no longer frightened, but instead became extremely deep. After a while, Luo Shui slowly opened his mouth and said, "No wonder I asked why such a remarkable person appeared in this mortal world. It turns out that this person is you. It's ridiculous, I actually want to accept you as my disciple. Now it seems that Master said that you are the biggest enemy of Tiangong, which is indeed true." At this time, Luo Shui had already judged Lu Shu's identity through the divine lock. Thinking of the previous scene, she felt ridiculous. Since Lu Shu had entered the boundary of the divine realm, reached this level, and defeated herself, that naturally means that the other party already has a status that is no less than that of a god. Knowing the relevant information is a matter of course. But what Luo Shui didn't expect was Lu Shu's progress was so fast. In such a short period of time, not only did he master such a powerful level of technology, which confused Luo Shui, he also had an incredible understanding, integrating taking Kung Fu and Jushin Kung Fu together. The most important thing is, because Lu Shu entered Wuodao Cliff and understood the exercises on the mural. Of course he knew what the Jushin sex exercises were like. In this way, as long as he targeted it a little, it would be easy to deal with. Luo Shui. She really miscalculated once. She never expected that the true identity of the man in black was Lu Shu. She thought that by virtue of her promotion to the status of the second-level true god, she would be able to recognize him at a glance as long as he appeared in front of her. But Luo Shui found that he still underestimated this mortal. Not only was he able to enter the secret realm and hide his identity, 123 was unable to sense his true aura, he also merged the two top divine realm schools of Taking and Jushin into one. Such a talent, let alone in Luo Shui's eyes, would still be shocked even if the Nine Heavens goddess came in person. Luo Shui's eyes suddenly showed a murderous intention. This person must not stay. Even if you pay the price with your life, you have to find a way to keep this person here. Xian Monk and others were lying on the ground, their backs already soaked with cold sweat. After a long time, the white-haired boy reluctantly got up from the ground, stared at the sky, and suddenly said in shock, "Look, what is that?" At this moment, everyone raised their heads and saw iron chains like divine weapons suspended in the sky, stretching across the sky. The whole body of Luo Shui was sealed off. Xian Monk froze on the spot. Then he slowly said, "That big guy, actually completely resisted the gods' attack." Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 794. Chapter 794, The Chosen Son. When this scene appeared in front of all the sacred tree masters, it was like the most shocking scene. When everyone saw this scene, it was as if they were in a dream, completely unimaginable. They thought that Luo Shui's attack had exceeded the limits of human beings and was beyond the power of any divine tree master. Even though it is a memory video, the terrifying attack power that permeates the entire void seems to be able to annihilate everything. All the sacred tree masters thought through the memory video and imagined that they were Lu Shu standing on the field. When they saw this scene, they almost felt despair in their hearts. That was a terrifying attack that could be resisted without any means of comeback. Even if you exhaust all your luck, you won't be able to survive an attack of this level. Not to mention, this is still the secret realm of Luo Shui. The void is blocked and you cannot teleport back to your own sacred tree island. As long as you are within the secret realm, it is the territory of the goddess. No matter how you evade, the only result is death. However, the scene before us exceeded everyone's expectations. I saw the iron rope across the sky, blocking Luo Shui. It seems that at this moment, the god is not Luo Shui standing in the sky, but Lu Shu controlling the iron rope. He is like a cold ruler, holding an iron rope to seal everything. Even God is nothing more than an insignificant obstacle in front of him. At this moment, the world's public screen went through a brief period of silence, and started scrolling like crazy. Did I read that correctly? Did the skills released by the boss actually block the attack power of the goddess's level? Does anyone know what this skill is called? It's so shocking. The chains that filled the sky were not only extremely shocking, but also looked like a magnificent painting. It turns out that divine tree masters can also possess the power of gods. Oh my god, this big guy has locked the goddess. Such a terrifying attack power cannot have any effect on her. Mom, is this the top divine tree master? Why does it seem a little different from me? They are also sacred tree masters. Why do some people have reached such a terrifying state and can even suppress gods? I was wrong. I shouldn't have thought that no divine tree master could deal with this messenger from the divine realm. It turns out that the masters are among the people. No. The master has already gone to the goddess's disciple recruitment meeting, and smashed the opponent's sign in their place. Who is still bragging about the coming of gods now? Sorry, our sacred tree masters are the most powerful. Even if it is a god, then we can kill the god. I hope I can reach the height of this big boss in this life, so that even if I die, I will have no regrets. Nowadays, all the sacred tree masters believe that under the gods, they are all ants. No matter how powerful the divine tree master is, if he faces an enemy at the level of a god, there is no possibility of defeating him. Even though they have witnessed Lu Shu repelling the goddess. However, they still don't feel that the divine tree master can truly defeat the opponent when facing the gods. After all, repelling and defeating are still different concepts. The former can only show that the divine tree master has the capital to fight with the gods. Simply put, it means that he can defeat the opponent in 2 moves. But if you want to defeat him, that is impossible. Just like a child who has mastered the skills of blocking and has a chance to avoid an adult's punch, but when it comes to the arm wrestling stage, it is a one-sided crushing. However, everything that Lu Shu presented now directly subverted the imagination of all the sacred tree masters. The sky-wide attacks were almost a sign that the goddess would use her strongest method. Any divine tree master can see that, the skill Luo Shui unleashed on Lu Shu didn't hold back at all. It was the ultimate move she had prepared. The goal, of course, is to completely annihilate Lu Shu. Not leaving any trouble behind, giving the opponent a chance to make a comeback. However, Lu Shu summoned the divine lock and directly sealed Luo Shui's move completely before it was released. This is not a simple trick. You know, if you can seal the opponent's attack, it must be a more powerful existence. It is definitely not a simple trick, it can be compared. But at this moment, Lu Shu sealed Luo Shui's attack firmly in the iron rope. Qian Li Hao. Even judging from Luo Shui's expression, it seemed extremely ugly. Wait, did you notice what the goddess said? J. What she said to the big boss was, "It turned out to be you." Could it be that the goddess and this big boss had some issues with each other a long time ago? Moreover, the goddess seems to have mentioned that this big boss is the chosen one. What is going on? At this time, there is a barrage on the world's public screen that is particularly dazzling. Many sacred tree masters calmed down and reviewed the video again, and they all discovered this doubt. Could it be that Lu Shu and Luo Shui have known each other for a long time? What does it mean to be the chosen one? What is happening? Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 795. Chapter 795, Can I Eat It? All kinds of doubts linger in everyone's minds, but they cannot be answered. They can't imagine what kind of power can make even the gods unable to resist the divine tree master. But now, the goddess actually calls Lushu the chosen one? Is there anything different between him and other normal divine tree masters? Son of Destiny, what is that? Can it be eaten? Are you kidding me upstairs? God damn, the Son of Destiny can eat it. Let me correct the two people above. They are not talking about the Son of Destiny, but the Son of Chosen One. Oops, don't they all mean the same thing? Just understand what it is and don't take it so seriously. I don't know what it means exactly, but it sounds like it's awesome. Wait, don't you think that The Chosen Son 470 sounds like the name of a middle school online novel? But this name came from the mouth of the goddess. You stand in front of the goddess and tell her to try the chosen one. Sorry, I was wrong. At this moment, all the sacred tree masters were extremely curious. What on earth was the chosen son that Luo Shui mentioned? Everyone is waiting for the memory video that follows, and many sacred tree masters are already searching everywhere for information about Lushu. And, what on earth is the legendary chosen one? Almost the entire sacred tree guild in the Grey Realm uses a powerful intelligence network to collect information everywhere. The focus is also on the people in Wu Pavilion. After all, that pavilion master claims to be able to calculate everything. So, can I get relevant news through my own abilities? And, the Tianji Pavilion that has popped up recently is somewhat similar to the Wu Pavilion. You can get a lot of information. Especially that Tianjizi, these guilds, which possess most of the secret information of the Grey Realm, have become the targets of monitoring by the Divine Tree Masters. However, if Mu Yu Tingfen knew about these things, she would only make a faint taunt behind her back. It's not like planning can be done without any restrictions. If you want to know the relevant information about the gods, you need to at least only with the personality of a god can we accommodate the risks of planning. From the beginning of the Grey World game to this stage, Mu Yu Tingfen has vomited blood for a certain guy. She knew that if she dared to have any thoughts about something of the level of a god, she would be struck by lightning in a minute. Well, that is to say, Mu Yu Tingfen doesn't want to know about this matter, and she doesn't want to know. She doesn't know anything. Any hope of getting any information from Wu Pavilion is just a fantasy. Hey, wasn't there a guild called Tianji Pavilion before? Why don't you tell me what the chosen son is? That's right, that Tianjiza seems to be very powerful and knows everything. Why don't you come out and say a few words now? Come on, let me see how powerful your Tianji Pavilion is, and whether you even know the secrets of the gods. After a while, there was indeed a lot of news about Tianji Pavilion on the world public screen. After all, Tianji Pavilion came out to show off before, and now it is very popular. On the contrary, there are almost no people in Wu Pavilion, so naturally they will not get the attention of the public. When I saw someone claiming to know everything, it was Bai Xiaotong from the Grey World, so I asked him a few questions. However, the people in Tianji Pavilion naturally have no way of knowing the news about the gods. No one came out to speak for a long time, which greatly dampened their arrogance. Suddenly, these guys immediately continued to set the pace on the public screen. Yo, I thought that the Divine Tree Master of Tianji Pavilion knew everything. Now that there is a big boss of this level, why can't he say a word? He also said that he knew everything. Now it seems that this Tianji Pavilion is just fooling Meng Xian. In fact, he has no real ability. However, he is still good at turning around and playing tricks. That's right, you said you knew everything, but now you're like a mute and no one calls out. Gongping has brought such a few rhythms. Only a few sacred tree masters stood up to oppose it. But most people remained silent. They were all happy to see TNG Pavilion's arrogance suppressed. They were just eating melons anyway, and had no plans to join this guild. They just stood by and watched the show, watching the fire from a distance. No matter how strong the fire was, it would not burn them. What was the need? Worried. At this moment, Tianjaizi actually appeared on the public screen and said, "I love spicy crayfish, I am an S-level divine tree master, and I belong to the Wei Guild. Luo Bing, Ice Toad Guild. Stella, Godzilla Guild. Hanjian has the bird sacred tree. His combat ability is to summon birds to attack opponents. His strength is around A. His skills are." Each piece of information was broadcast to the public screen by Tianjaizi, like a public execution. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 796. Chapter 796 Silence. When all the familiar ids were sent to the world public screen, the Divine Tree Masters present suddenly fell silent. Not many people dare to continue to face TNG Pavilion. Just because all their secrets were revealed. The greatest reliance of the Divine Tree Master is to rely on his own fighting ability to defeat his opponents in an unexpected way. Sometimes, relying on the correct Divine Tree method, even the Divine Tree Master kills the S-Class Divine Tree Master offside, which is something that often happens in the Grey World. Therefore, the greatest reliance of the Sacred Tree Masters is actually their secrets. However, these secrets were sent directly to the public screen like cabbage, and the whole world knew about it. For these unknown Divine Tree Masters, generally no one would pay attention to them. Even in normal times. Even if these Sacred Tree Masters directly reported their information directly, no one would give them a second glance on the public screen. But what is the situation now? Since Tianjaizi has attracted everyone's attention is focused here, and they naturally notice the information on the public screen. Looking at it this way, you find that all your information has been told by others without any changes. Don't you feel angry? Some relatively weak Sacred Tree Masters, once they see this ability, they will die in a matter of seconds. Not to mention that some of the Sacred Tree Masters are members of other guilds. But at this moment, their information was also spoken out like this. Suddenly, these Sacred Tree Masters no longer dare to provoke TNG Pavilion. This kind of approach can be said to have completely frightened the group of people who wanted to establish TNG Pavilion. If you are rude to TNG Pavilion again, then this information will be known to everyone in the world. Even if most of the Sacred Tree Masters have no interest in this trivial intelligence information, there will always be guild members who will collect this information. Ordinary people are not afraid of knowing this information, but what they are afraid of are those guilds with stronger intelligence, which is equivalent to owning your database. As long as others want it, there is a way to spend money and buy all this information. From now on, walking in the Grey World without any secrets. This is actually a very dangerous thing. It's like having a disease that will never get better, it can occur at any time, and the mortality rate is extremely high. At this time, Tianjaizi spoke on the public screen. Although the strength of our TNG Pavilion is indeed not as strong as everyone imagines, the power of the gods is not something that a Divine Tree Master of my level can covet. But your origins and little secrets, to me, are the same as having no secrets at all. Gee, there seem to be some guild bosses among them. Do they want to suppress us or target us? Forget it, I don't know what intentions you have in buying these people and shouting on the public screen. However, we at TNG Pavilion can say here that anyone who wants to deal with us is an enemy and will definitely not end well. But if you want to be our partner, TNG Pavilion is eager to welcome it. Let's make it bigger and stronger in the Grey World together. Hearing TNG Pavilion's speech, many guilds with relatively average strength were moved. But they also know that TNG Pavilion is acting very mysterious now and may not be friends with small guilds like them. So after thinking about it, they might as well forget it. However, some of the more powerful guilds actually have thoughts of making friends with TNGiza. After all, such a number one person actually knows everything. If a cooperative relationship can be reached, it will be equivalent to unlocking a powerful intelligence network. But of course it's not that easy. Naturally, the guild has no reason to take you for no reason. And such a guild that knows most of the information is actually dangerous to most guilds. For example, in Wea Pavilion, everyone knows that the master of the pavilion is clever, but few people can be related to Wea Pavilion, except for their guild members. The current Wea Pavilion is equivalent to a relatively mysterious and closed group, and rarely appears in the Grey World. It is somewhat similar to the Tien Zone. But now TNG Pavilion, in order to take advantage of the opportunity, has made such a public statement. In any case, the current pattern of the Grey World has undergone huge changes due to the addition of TNG Pavilion. When many Sacred Tree Masters are fighting, they have to consider whether the opponent is someone from TNG Pavilion, or whether they have a close relationship with TNG Pavilion. An enemy who controls a large amount of intelligence is quite terrifying. Because intelligence itself is an extremely powerful weapon, and it can be used for transactions. Even if the person with the information can't kill you, they can still use the information in their hands to exchange for someone who can deal with you. If you are against such an enemy, you will inevitably have a chill down your spine and a feeling as if there is a sword hanging over your head, ready to cut you down at any time. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 797. Chapter 797, Beheading. And, these rhythmic guys are obviously not good people either. He even colluded with some guilds. There are several names, and at first glance they are all familiar guilds, and the ingredients are simply unclear. It's hard to say what the purpose is for targeting TNG Pavilion. Although TNG Pavilion is currently in the limelight, at least they haven't done anything harmful. They also listed out the list of harmful elements. However, there are a few guilds that seem to be very bad, and they were already notorious in the world of the Sacred Tree. Now, after these identity information 030s have been revealed, each one of them looks like a mute. They are afraid. After all, these guilds do nothing good on weekdays, and yet they have encountered such a mysterious TNG Pavilion, which knows everything about the Grey World. Of course they are afraid, and of course they don't want such a guild to rise up. But it is a pity that Grey World speaks with its strength. TNG Pavilion is powerful enough to even know their information. Now, no guild dares to provoke them. Maybe, if someone announces all your inside information, but you still don't know what level of enemy your opponent is, you will naturally be afraid and intimidated. At this stage, the Sacred Tree Masters who were able to survive were all very life-saving. Those who were brainless and those who were looking for death died at the beginning of the game. Although these people don't have very good intentions, at least they won't do anything too mindless and risk their lives. Suddenly, many unidentified guys on the public screen have now retreated and did not dare to speak out. After this scene, everyone was sure that there really was something in TNG Pavilion. It was impossible for them to order so many Sacred Tree Masters to act with them. It is even less likely that there are several guilds that are at the top of the rankings. If their information is really faked and their information is found out, of course I can come forward to testify. But no. Even if we take a step back, if TNG Pavilion really has the qualifications to collude with so many powerful guilds, then they themselves must be even more powerful. Otherwise, what qualifications do they have for these guilds to cooperate? Therefore, Not only did everyone not have the slightest contempt for Tianji Pavilion, but they looked at it more favorably than before. At the same time, the world's public screen has lost these unknown species with mixed identities, and has become much more harmonious and quiet than before. Now, Lu Shu stood on the field, staring at Luo Shui floating in front of him. "Yes, it's me." Lu Shu smiled softly and responded directly to Luo Shui's question. He did not deny the matter. Instead, he chose to admit it openly. Judging from the information collected so far, the entire Grey World at present, there is only Luo Shui as a divine messenger. Lu Shu's current strength is completely enough to kill Luo Shui. So, why should he hide his identity? As long as there is with enough strength, any skills are useless. Strength is the absolute king. Strong enough, no matter what choice you make, there will be no problems. This is the world of the strong. At this moment, Luo Shui abandoned the ruthless sword and came directly to kill Lu Shu at the fastest speed. This time, she used palm skills. The Jushin faction is proficient in 18 kinds of martial arts. Although Luo Shui practiced, she is a swordsman, but it does not mean that she does not have any attainments in other fields. Bone transformation palm technique is another martial art that Luo Shui is good at. This martial art is extremely sinister. As long as it is hit by a palm, all the Taoism all over the body will dissipate. It seems that the name is not very powerful, as if it is a skill of a Jianghu sect and has nothing to do with gods. However, in the upper world, the characteristics of all skills are not that simple, and the name is just a title. The specific ability still depends on who uses it, how to use it, and what amazing abilities it has when used. Now, the scene of Luo Shui's sneak attack was also recorded in the memory video and posted directly to the forum of the entire Divine Tree world. Suddenly, all the sacred tree masters were completely shocked by Luo Shui's amazing move. Damn it, why is this goddess so ignorant of martial ethics? She even engages in sneak attacks. That's right, the opponent is just a divine tree master. Even if he has reached the realm of pseudo-god, there should be no comparison with the second-level true god, right? 1.8. Even to deal with a mortal, you have to use such despicable methods. With all due respect, there is not much in this kind of god that can be called a god. Whoever wants to support the goddess should do so. Anyway, I support the boss. Come on, boss, kill the gods. Please become the first god eater of the Divine Tree Master. Yes, I hope the boss can become the first god of war in the Grey World. I have long been dissatisfied with these gods. They usually act like they are showing off, but at critical moments, they engage in sneak attacks. They don't even have the nerve to do so. It's shameless. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 798. Chapter 798, Incomprehensible Power. At this moment, many people in the Divine Tree world felt extremely shameful towards Luo Shui's behavior. No matter what, Luo Shui should be a god. In the minds of everyone, he has a very high standard. However, now there is a time like this when a sneak attack is made. It's really not a very glorious thing. The Sacred Tree Master, who originally still had some respect for Luo Shui, can't help but feel contempt and disgust for it now. Everyone comes from ordinary people, so naturally they can't understand that the gods are so arrogant, and they can't understand that the gods have such great strength, but in order to win, just to deal with a mortal, they actually use such despicable methods. It's simply shameful. Yes, support the boss and hope to defeat this so-called god. What about God? This is just a copy of the Grey World, a boss. There are no gods in this world. Gods are all forged concepts. We are all players in this game. If there are gods in the world, they are just relatively powerful bosses. Maybe our power is still very weak now, but one day in the future, as time goes by and our levels continue to rise, there will eventually be someone who can kill gods. That day. At that time, the gods will no longer be gods, but just a new type of dungeon boss. I hope that a true God Slayer can appear in the world of the God Tree and bring new hope to our humanity. Xiansheng and others are now extremely nervous. They were at the scene and were the first participants to witness this epic scene. Now, this group of people stared intently at what was happening on the field, wanting to know what would happen next. Damn it, this god is so despicable. 1 second he was still talking, and the next second he directly launched a sneak attack on our boss. Who is your boss? You are so shameless. Oops, this just means that I support this big guy, and it doesn't say that the big guy is my player. Ah no, I am the big guy's idol, his little fanboy. No, 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 I am the big guy's dog. You've had enough. Damn, although this god is very shameless, her speed is really fast. I wonder if the boss can react. What a speed. Anyway, I definitely can't dodge this move. I feel like the boss is in danger. I hope the boss can be fine. Xian Monk's team established a small group, and the chats between them were basically conducted in their minds through the system of the Divine Tree Master. Although it seemed like there was a lot of content, in fact, the information exchange was completed in an instant. But in such a short moment, the goddess's attack was about to fall on Lu Shu. Everyone's eyes widened, staring at this scene, wanting to know what would happen next. At this moment, Lu Shu's face just showed a dismissive smile. Tisk tisk, no wonder you went from a first-level true god to a second-level true god, and your improvement in strength was not very strong. You know, you don't have a strong heart. Therefore, even if you receive a gift from the goddess in your family, a person who does not have a strong heart can never be called a strong person. You are my defeated general, and you will always be my defeated general. No matter what method you use to challenge me, there is only one outcome: lose. The next second, extremely powerful Taoism emerged from Lu Shu's body. The Zuxian sword and other artifacts turned into streams of light, spreading around his body. The Taking Kung Fu was integrated with the Jushin school, and the state reached was comparable to that of a half-step true immortal. The realms merged and erupted with an extremely powerful light. At that moment, the aura on Lu Shu's body reached an extremely terrifying state. It was as if he had the power to kill gods. How can it be? Luo Shui's expression suddenly changed. She sensed that Lu Shu's body contained power that she could not understand. That was completely beyond Luo Shui's 867 cognitive scope, and it was not a power that an ordinary human being should be able to possess. Run. This is the only thought left in Luo Shui's mind. If she doesn't run, then she will probably die here without any suspense. Luo Shui's thoughts are different now from before. Since being defeated by Lu Shu, and came into contact with the world of sacred trees, she possessed and learned many mortal thoughts. That's why, she found a way to accept Lu Shu as a disciple. The purpose was of course not to teach the skills, but to improve her status. Can have a higher position in the heavenly palace. But this also means that Luo Shui is no longer pure, and has descended from a god to a mortal world, perhaps in just such a thought. The next second, that ray of light flashed past. Luo Shui's body suddenly froze on the spot, his pupils contracted slightly. It ended, so. She finally looked up reluctantly, and then turned into a curtain of light that filled the sky and disappeared. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 799. Chapter 799 is over? It's over. Xiansheng and others looked at everything in front of them with disbelief, and their mouths were wide open. Not to mention them, even the war reporters were standing there in a daze, speechless. Even the video was released, they have all forgotten. In my mind, there is only the scene of Lu Shu slaying the god. At that moment, everything seemed to be frozen, and only a majestic body stood in front of everyone. Lu Shu. The first thing that can be observed in the world of divine trees. He is also the only divine tree master who has truly killed a god and is a second-level god. Before that, gods were invincible to most of the divine tree masters. Invincible and mysterious. Test. But now, this myth has been completely broken. They are witnessing history. And this figure who created history is now standing not far from him. It is difficult to imagine, what kind of person is Xianzeng and others now? Such a mood, but even the calmest person in the world can't be calm when facing this scene. He really won. The white-haired boy took a deep breath and knelt on the ground. His pale face was filled with disbelief. Everyone then woke up from a dream and reacted. They all took a deep breath and felt chills all over. I feel goosebumps all over my body. Before this, who could have imagined that a sacred tree master could really kill gods? No one would think highly of Lu Shu. But now, the god has disappeared, and is still standing. The person there is that mortal. He raised the god-slaying sword and stood in the sky, with an proud posture, and even no movement on his face. It was as if killing such an incredible god was just a scene for him. Warm-up exercise. It's almost the same feeling as killing zombies for the first time in the city of the living dead at the beginning of Grey World. At this moment, the war correspondent's brain almost didn't realize it. When they came to their senses, private messages were all it has exploded. At this moment, all the people in the Divine Tree world are waiting for news. But no war reporter has sent back the news. Everyone is curious. What happened there? Hey, why hasn't the news come back yet? It's been a minute since I've seen a memory video and I'm feeling pretty lonely right now. Upstairs, you are indeed extremely lonely, and it has been 5 minutes now. Show me the memory video. If there is no more pictures I will die. Why didn't all the war reporters send back the footage? What happened? This, couldn't it be that the goddess struck too hard and the area of damage was too wide, and swept all our war reporters into it? It's really not impossible. Otherwise, why hasn't any war reporter sent us pictures from the front line so far? Oh my god. I hope they are really okay. If they don't let me, I won't have any videos to watch. This outrageous statement, do you want them to be safe just to watch the video? It's so cold-blooded. Exactly what I thought. Tisk, 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 these heartless guys. Does anyone know what the situation is now? Is there anyone alive over there at the ruins? Please let me know. Don't worry, I have a friend who is a war correspondent. I sent him a private message, but he didn't reply, but it didn't show that they were dead. Oh, that's good, as long as they are not dead. Although they may only have one head left, they should be able to send memory videos. Who are these people? They only have one head and you have to watch the memory video. They are simply devils. At this moment, many sacred tree masters are actually very concerned about whether the lives of war reporters are safe and whether they are still alive. After all, if there is any information deep in the ruins now, they can only rely on war reporters to bring the latest news to everyone. But for a long time, there was no movement at all on the forum. At the beginning, it was only 1 minute, but now almost 10 minutes have passed. War reporters can't even post a single post. This is completely incomparable with their previous speed of 1 post per second. Many people are worried about whether something went wrong with the war correspondent and whether he died. However, the world of the sacred tree has a very special function, the friend function. As long as you are a friend of the other party, if you send a private message, you can check the other party's status. If the sacred tree master is dead, Then sending a message will not succeed, but a prompt similar to this will pop up: the other party is dead and cannot accept the message. War correspondents also had connections. With such high popularity, they will naturally add a lot of friends. These are the sources of intelligence. Friends of war correspondents tried to send private messages and found that the message was sent successfully. Doesn't that mean that the other party is not dead? Planting trees for all, 3 consecutive SSS-level talents at the beginning. Author, Immortal. Chapter 800. Chapter 800 Reply. Since he's not dead, he should still be able to reply. In fact, what I worry about is that although they are dead, will they be affected by terrible injuries and lose their intelligence or thinking ability, and their brains will become waste and cannot be used. It seems that this goddess is not a powerful ancient god, so she shouldn't have such a sen-killing skill. Just wait patiently and see. With my keen mind, I can feel that there will be new memory videos in the future, and updates will not be discontinued so permanently. Blessings to war correspondents. Hope they can send the next memory video safely. At this moment, everyone in the Divine Tree world is sincerely blessing the war correspondent. At this moment, the war reporters who were still in shock at Wuadeo Cliff also woke up one after another. I saw the explosion of private messages on the list, and there are many enthusiastic netizens in the forum who are concerned about their life safety. At this moment, the war correspondents were moved 177 in their hearts. For the first time, they felt that the cause they were engaged in had such value. It was simply surprising and exciting. Then, I immediately felt an extremely strong professional spirit, and immediately packaged this piece of content into a memory video, and quickly uploaded it to the public screen of the Divine Tree world, so that everyone could understand what happened here. War reporters don't even need to organize and edit, they just need to reproduce everything that happened here. Everyone's perspective is different, but what is certain is that everyone will watch these memory videos, because it is not enough for the sacred tree masters to watch one video. They must refer to information from multiple sources in order to have more accurate information. Therefore, war reporters don't need to be greedy for speed. They only need to reproduce all the processes in great detail and send them as videos to get a lot of clicks. Soon, the reporters from the battlefield, CFE, completed the production of the video, and they immediately sent it. At the same time, a prompt popped up in front of them. Ding, you uploaded a memory video. All the sacred tree masters in the entire sacred tree world were waiting anxiously. But at this moment, a reminder suddenly appeared in everyone's ears, and it was as if they were listening to fairy music. All the sacred tree masters immediately became excited, their eyes lit up, and they showed extremely excited expressions. Everyone started frantically posting on the world's public screens. Damn it! Damn it! Finally come! I finally waited for you, but luckily I didn't give up. Hurry up and click in, I can't wait to see how the battle will turn out. The fight probably won't end so quickly. This scene must be very exciting. I don't know what stage the fight between the goddess and the boss has reached. This battle will probably go from one end of the secret realm to the other, and we may not be able to watch it all. Wait, I saw that the goddess was beaten to death by the boss. Children, do you have a lot of question marks? Don't tease me, you actually said that the goddess was beaten to death by the boss. If you don't believe it, you can click it yourself. This new memory video has been released. It's not like you don't have eyes. Just kidding. I must go and see it. When all the sacred tree masters heard the news, they felt dizzy. Although they had a lot of illusions about the outcome, they didn't expect that it was already over. And, it turned out that Lushu had already eliminated the goddess in a very short period of time. Various factors make it difficult for everyone to believe it. I even wonder if this is a joke the guys made on themselves. So, I immediately clicked on the memory video to see what happened. After a while, most of the sacred tree masters have watched the memory video and know what exactly happened. At this moment, the shock in their hearts was no less than that of Xian Monk and others at that time. They all felt incredible. They all had exaggerated expressions on their faces, as if they were dreaming. Oh my god, the boss actually took care of the goddess. What is this last move called? I don't seem to understand. Upstairs, if you can understand, you won't be fighting our water group here, but you will be facing the goddess. Too exaggerated. He actually won the battle. These are the top bosses in the world of the sacred tree, please accept my worship. When I go back, I must build a temple specifically to worship and admire the big man's face. So cool. This is the God Killer. From now on, I declare that the age of gods has ended in this game, and from now on it will be the age of divine tree masters. We divine tree masters no longer have to fear the gods, nor do we need to completely surrender to the gods, because it has been proven that we divine tree masters have enough strength to grow to the point where we can fight with the gods. The rest is just a matter of time.